Rampage.
A lot has happened behind the scenes in The Walking Dead last week, and we wanted to do a quick update of what these changes could mean for Carl, Morgan, and the rest of the Walking Dead universe. Warning, beyond this point, there are spoilers for people who are not up to date on both Walking Dead series and the comics. Before we get into our video, we just want to thank everyone for all their support of our channel so far. In our first month, we have surpassed 350,000 views and gotten over 1,000 subscribers. We really appreciate all the love and hope to make this channel more interactive and rewarding for everyone out there viewing for a long time to come. Now, back to the dead. First, let's take a look at the photos posted by EW last week. A lot of people are saying these photos seal Carl's fate, but we don't see any new evidence here of that. The first shot we have here is Rick and Michonne dragging a war-torn looking Carl out on the streets in Alexandria while it burns. This picture does actually tell us something for sure. Carl doesn't die in the sewers like some rat. He ends up above ground and hopefully runs into Gabriel and the doctor before it's too late. This next picture takes place clearly before the first one, as they are still down in the sewers. We already knew Carl was sick, and Michonne was there when he revealed the bite, so no new information here. This pic shows Maggie with the baby found earlier in the season in the background. She's possibly contemplating some heavy decision and writing a letter or note to someone, or even maybe herself. Since Maggie executed the Savior in the mid-season finale, she's probably feeling conflicted about that, and this scene is most likely meant to get that point across.
You want to be next?
This next picture is a pretty badass Daryl shot, but again, no real new information, as we've already seen Daryl will be in the swamps with Sadiq in the mid-season premiere trailer. The next shot here shows the untouchable Morgan and Carol behind some kind of metal barricade. Presumably, this is the Kingdom, and they are looking out for the Saviors and Ezekiel. We know Morgan makes it to Fear the Walking Dead Season 4, and we'll cover that more later, but one thing we're sure of is that Morgan doesn't die.
I don't die.
This next photo is a Carl flashback, which we already knew we'd be seeing in this episode. No new information here, as this scene has already been partially played out in the mid-season finale. In this picture, we see a confirmation that Ezekiel was in fact captured alive, and who we are assuming is Gavin standing over him, as he is usually the head savior when dealing with the Kingdom. Ezekiel looks like he's still got some fight left in him, and may make it out alive with Morgan and Carol's help. In the comics, Ezekiel does make it through all that war, and at least for now, there's still hope for the King.
You have been addressed by the king, yet you remain silent.
This next one shows a troubled-looking Maggie holding her pretty much non-existent baby bump. This really doesn't give us any more new info than the first pic with Maggie does. This is a great picture, but it's of the one guy that's pretty much untouchable, and again, we don't learn anything new. This last photo got us excited for a split second as Carl looks a little better here, but we noticed that he was wearing the same clothes from episode 806, so unfortunately, another flashback. That's it for the mid-season premiere photos. To recap, we've learned that Carl won't die in the sewers, Ezekiel is being held captive, Maggie looks conflicted, and Morgan has impenetrable plot armor. Until we see more definitive proof or a death on screen, we're holding out hope that Carl pulls through.
I hope he makes it.
To make the week even more interesting, The Walking Dead Season 9 was finally officially confirmed, although most of us knew that that was pretty much a guarantee. The big news here was that Scott Gimple was promoted to Chief Content Officer, overseeing the entire Walking Dead TV universe. He's even in charge of gaming and any brand extensions. He named Angela Kang as the new showrunner for The Walking Dead, who has been working and writing on the series since 2011, and most likely has loyalties to Gimple. This will make the average fan think that Gimple is not making the calls anymore, which is smart on AMC's part due to the fan backlash over Carl's alleged bite. Some people are saying that this title is just made up to appease Gimple, but we don't think that's the case here. AMC doesn't need to appease anyone, and if they're unhappy over Gimple's performance, they would fire him. We think that this new position gives Gimple even more power over both shows, and that something big is happening that the general public is not aware of. This crossover and supposed killing of Carl could end up being something completely different that nobody ever thought of. This position was created for Gimple, and we believe it's because the shows are going into uncharted territory and doing something that has never been done before.
Hello?
Gimple has just been promoted to the Wizard of Oz, and will be scrutinized so much less while he sets his master plan into motion.
You ungrateful creatures!
We just hope that that plan includes Carl somehow alive and well. The next piece of news we'd like to talk about, which has gotten a lot less attention than the Walking Dead announcement, is the Fear Season 4 premiere date. Fear the Walking Dead Season 4 will premiere April 15th of this year at 10 p.m. This is a big announcement because The Walking Dead's mid-season premiere is on February 25th. If you skip forward 8 weeks to when the season finale would be, you end up on April 15th at 9 p.m. So basically, as soon as The Walking Dead Season 8 is over, Fear Season 4 begins. We think the Fear crossover will start immediately. As Morgan was on set for the first day of filming, he has been confirmed as a series regular and someone who will be interacting heavily with Madison's group. In an unexpected short statement released this week by EW, Norman Reedus got our attention. Fan favorite Daryl Dixon gave a very thinly veiled threat and message to Gimple and the AMC execs. He warned them to be very careful of what they do with key members of the cast. We're not sure why he chose now to speak out, as the mid-season finale was about a month old when he made these statements, but we wonder if it has to do with something even bigger than Carl. Could they be trying to kill Rick off, or Daryl himself? Morgan is the only one we believe is truly safe as we get into our last bit of info. Photos from the Fear the Walking Dead set, and the very first image of worlds colliding with Morgan and a Fear cast member together. The first photo here shows Morgan with Maggie Grace from Lost, who plays Althea. Althea sounds like an interesting character, being described as uniquely qualified to survive. Althea is also reported to have gotten Strand's attention, so we know they'll end up meeting up at some point. Morgan and Althea do look friendly in this photo, although you never know who to trust in the apocalypse. This next photo confirms to us that Fear is doing a time jump, as Morgan has what strongly looks to be a spear here. Morgan was trained in the way of the staff by Eastman, and only recently sharpened his staff to a spear at the end of Season 7 of The Walking Dead. We know it's not a guarantee, but we feel this shows that Morgan is most likely creating a new future instead of flashing back. This next picture shows Morgan looking at a car with a walker passenger inside very hesitantly. We only see the blunt end of his staff or spear here, so this photo doesn't tell us much. This nice photo gives us our first look at Garrett Dillahunt's character, John. He seems to be friendly with Althea here, but hard to really tell what they're looking at with such concern. The character John is described as a gentle soul, but no stranger to violence. We don't learn much from this pic, but we do love the homemade brass knuckles Althea is sporting and the cowboy pistol John's packing. The next photo shows Madison, and who is confirmed to be, but doesn't look like Jenna Elfman, as Naomi, in a pool of God knows what, covered in God knows what, surrounded by walkers. She seems to have bonded with Madison. This next shot shows John in a cowboy hat that matches the cowboy pistol he was wearing in the previous pic. He seems like an interesting character, although we're not sure if he's a good guy or a bad guy, or something in between. Could he be the next governor?
You kill or you die. Or you die and you kill.
This last picture shows Jenna Elfman again as Naomi, although a lot cleaner this time. Naomi is reported to have lived on her own in the apocalypse up until meeting Madison and her group, and will eventually bond with Alicia, which tells us that Madison will reunite with her daughter at some point during Fear season. Overall, these photos, behind-the-scenes moves, and Norman Reedus' interview leave us with more questions than answers. One thing we know for sure is that huge things are being set into motion right now, and on April 15th we'll finally start to see that happen. Until then, we just hope that Carl finds a way to live to fight another day. Thanks so much for watching our videos and supporting our channel. Please let us know your thoughts in the comments section below. Turn on the notification button for our channel so you can see our next video as soon as it comes out, and don't forget to subscribe.